Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for checking out this clip. Of course, this is your boy Mike Gilbert, host of Brace for Impact, and I really appreciate you being subscribers to the Mike and JD Show YouTube channel. Please give us a thumbs up, lay down a comment, and make sure you're a subscriber to the channel. You'll get to the clip here in just a second, but before we get to the clip, I just want to let you guys know a little bit of something about the clip. I was recording live on the air, and I was discussing the TNA Impact tapings in Spartanburg being canceled due to the hurricane. And we were speculating live on the air. And I had guys in the chat throwing out ideas and things like that. So we were just speculating as to exactly what they would do with their upcoming taping cycle, considering they were canceled for Spartanburg over the weekend due to, of course, Hurricane Helene. So we were recording, and then I immediately, like after talking about it for a little bit, we didn't have any information, but I did get word that Fightful Select any moment was going to be dropping some information. So you're going to see the clip where I'm just kind of speculating for a little bit. And then later in the episode on Brace for Impact, which you can actually get access to right now, patreon.com/the Mike and JD Show, cheap plug. Then I'm gonna cut to where we actually found out live on the air what some of the plans were going forward. The information that Sean Rossat from Fightful Select, which you guys can subscribe for $5 over there too. We actually read his story right on the air. So please stay tuned to the very end. We're going to start with some speculation, some ideas, and then we're going to get to the breaking news from the Fightful Select story at the end of the clip. So thank you guys for being here. Again, please give us the thumbs up. Make sure you're a subscriber and drop a comment down. And then if we do get the information as to exactly what they're going to be doing with the taping cycle, I'll come right back here on the YouTube channel and let everybody know what that is. All right, now enjoy the clip. Hey, now it's Brace for Impact, and I'm your host, Mike Gilbert, and I'm going solo on that ass, but it's still the same. We're talking TNA wrestling, and we got to start the show off with a little bit of breaking news. As you guys have known, TNA had to postpone their Spartanburg TV taping, so they were actually supposed to be taping last night, and tomorrow night, last night and tonight, Friday and Saturday, and because of the Hurricane Helene has kind of ravaged parts of Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina, and North Carolina, and Spartanburg is kind of right in the way of that storm. They had to postpone to Sunday, Monday. Well, then it got worse, and they ended up postponing to Monday, Tuesday. And I'm actually going to pull up the tweet here from TNA Wrestling, so that way we can get an accurate word from them. But so this is from TNA Wrestling. So due to the catastrophic effects of Hurricane Helene, TNA Wrestling is canceling both shows scheduled for Spartanburg, South Carolina. The safety and well-being of our TNA wrestler staff, crew, and fans are top priority. TNA will provide an update on refunds for Spartanburg shows, as well as an update on future additional shows. We wish the best to everyone impacted by Hurricane Helene. So, like, power is out in that whole area, and people are stranded, people are stuck. I think TNA actually has some staff members already there. I think they had already had, and they were dealing with power outages and things like that. So this was just a bad thing all around. There have been people that have died because of this hurricane. So like that's the most important thing. Just a terrible situation. And there's actually been some fans that they're like super hardcore TNA fans, but man, they turn on TNA in a heartbeat. And they were like outwardly criticizing TNA for not immediately getting their refunds. And there was one guy specifically that Jordan Grace called out, and that guy was just so rude. It's like, right now is not the time to be doing that. They're going through a lot. It takes a while to process refunds. You don't just get it instantaneously. A lot of time it does take a little bit of time. So, and that's going to have to get worked out through Ticketmaster or whatever, or whatever ticketing app that you used. I have had to get refunds before, and sometimes they take, whatever, 5 to 7 business days or something like that, but it takes time to process that, especially because they were, at the time, they were postponing. So that's difficult. Postponements are a bit more difficult than cancellations. But cancellations, so hopefully everybody gets their refund, they get it in a timely fashion. But if it takes a little bit of time, you guys need to just chill out. Like, you guys are being weird. There's way more important things going on than whatever, 50, $150 that you spent on that show. You'll get that back. Okay. Don't worry, you'll get it back. Nobody's being shady. No one's trying to steal. No one's doing anything wrong here. They're dealing with an impossible situation, and everybody needs to chill the hell out right now. Uncle Mike is telling you to chill the hell out. TNA is not doing anything shady here, which has been alleged by, I think, at least one person, and I'm glad that person got called out, because that's just not cool. Billy's here. Billy also goes to a lot of these shows. He says MLW also canceled Slaughterhouse in St. Petersburg, Florida for next Friday and offered refunds immediately. Yeah. So, but I guarantee those refunds are going to take a little bit of time. Like, it doesn't just hit your bank immediately. They're trying to figure everything out. And these tapings are super important for the company right now, because this is the month of shows that's going to be taking them all the way to the biggest show of the year, and Bound for Glory. So I could see why they tried everything they could not to cancel these shows. I could see why. That makes total sense to me. And look, the people of Spartanburg, I thought Dobby was tracking it. The ticket sales looked like they were doing pretty good. I didn't get an update as of this morning, because it doesn't mean anything now. But they were actually doing pretty good. The Hardys were out there doing press, and they were probably going to have full houses both nights. Maybe not sellouts, but full houses both nights. And they had to cancel. It sucks, but it is what it is. Now, I do think that this is their opportunity to turn a real negative into a positive and go live. I think they should go live. Obviously not in Spartanburg, but some people have mentioned Skyway Studios, and yeah, Skyway Studios. Skyway Studios doesn't look bad on television, but it looks just super small. It looks super small time, but like the production quality that you get there is usually really good. But the way that it's set up and how the crowd looks, it looks like there's only 50 people there. On a swig of coffee for Skyway. It'd be nice if they were able to work out a deal with WWE to borrow the PC, even if it's just to go live one night, this Thursday, just to buy them a little bit of time, until maybe they can get another taping set, this coming up weekend, or that way they could tape live on Thursday night. And then I think Dobby is the first one that suggested this, and I like this suggestion. Just do a live show, and then follow it with another immediate taping for the following week. That buys you 2 weeks to figure out what your next move is. It would be nice to go live from either Skyway. Best situation would be to be able to borrow the PC from the WWE, but that's a tough ask. Like, that's really, like, you're really testing your partnership at that point. Especially when right now they're in current litigation over the Santino Marella trademark, which I don't think anybody's taking personal. I think WWE feels like they still own that trademark, and Anthem trademarked it. So they're kind of they're battling right now, but that has not stopped them from working together. So I think Rosemary was on NXT again this week. So so I think getting the PC, like, that's probably asking a lot. And I think whenever TNA and AEW were working together a couple years ago, some of us were suggesting, because TNA was still at Skyway Studios at the time, and some of us were suggesting that, hey, maybe you could just use Daly's place, but like, that's really asking your partner a lot. Like, at that point, it's like being charity. Now, if you could somehow pay them to rent the space, right? Like if you call them up, like TKO has shareholders. So if you call them up and be like, hey, look, we want to rent the space. We want to pay you like we would pay like a normal event. And will you help us promote it and get people in there and we'll pay you? I think WWE wouldn't balk at that. But if you just call up like, hey, do you mind if we just borrow? It's like, no, like I think they're a business. I think you would have to pay for it. And I think if you paid the right amount, they would allow it. And whether or not Anthem would be willing to pay, I don't know. But I think it would be worth the shot. Now, one other option, and this has been the option that I happen to like, is the Full Sail option. Now, I don't know what Full Sail has going on this Thursday because that event center holds other events. So you would have to be like, this is just Mike assuming that it's available, and it might not be. But I think like for me, in my taste, because that's something that we've been pushing them towards for 2025. I'd like to see them just go ahead and try. Like now is the time to try that for this month because you're running out of options. Really, you are. So I think, and by the time I'm done recording this and this gets up on audio, they're already going to have a solution figured out. And it's going to be announced, but that's fucking typically how it goes. But I think now, like now is the opportunity to try that option. Like just see what you guys are made of, right? And see if you can get people in there. Now it's a tough ask, and let's see. Billy has a good question here, and I think this is a great question. Do you think they can even give away 500 tickets in less than a week at the PC for a Thursday? I don't think you can get 500 people in the PC, but if you look, say you pay I think you would have to pay. Say you pay WWE to rent the space and help promote the show. I think you could. I think you could because those people are so hardcore. I think a lot, they just live in the area and they like, it's their deal. Like they just like going to wrestling shows. I think you could, especially if you tug on the heartstrings. Why, luckily, we just got screwed over here. It's an unfortunate situation. I think that you could. I think you can get a couple people in Full Sail University too. Not 500. No, we're not 500. 250. Yeah, I think you could. And 250 in that little PC actually looks really good. And I think you could do that if they did Full Sail University too. I think you can get out, you can do an ad campaign, get local radio, TV, paper the school, Full Sail, or pay, whatever you got to do. I think you can get enough people in there. Especially if you get, actually here, look, Lucha, me and Lucha are we're simpatico at this point. It's we're just two guys sharing the same brain. He said you can get Dolph Ziggler, the Hardys, Joe Hendry, Jordan Grace. I would add Rosemary and Zachary Wentz. Recognizable names to that area, right? People that are pretty popular in Orlando already because of their connection with WWE and specifically NXT. I think you can get them out there, out and about. You don't really have to twist a lot of arms to get on like a local radio broadcast, right? It doesn't really take much. You can go old school, like Richie Valens, La Bamba style, and rent a vehicle and, put TNA logos on it, going around with a big bullhorn, telling the town, hey, look, free show, come check us out. Full Sail University or the PC, whatever you want to say. Come on out. That is a wrestling community there in Orlando. It really is. And it's a TNA town. People forget that. A lot of those people are still holdovers from the Impact Zone era. So I think that you could. You got to leverage your partnerships. You got to get out there and grind. You got to get out there and hit the ground running. Now, again, I'm going to say all this shit. And then by the time I'm done recording, they're going to have a solution figured out. And it's probably going to be Nashville or Las Vegas or something. Probably as far away from water as they can get. So, but it makes sense. Let's see. Lucia says, what's Universal Studios got going on? I think that's probably out of the price range. I do. Um, let's see. Io asks a good question. How's Full Sail there right now in Orlando? Isn't it affected too? I don't think that Orlando is in the path of the hurricane. I have not seen anything with I haven't seen anything where that says that Orlando has been affected at all. In fact, I think NXT just did a show from like that area last night. They what's her name though? Nikita Lyons just wrestled last night, and they're just kind of like on that Florida loop there. So yeah, I don't think Orlando has been affected. Again, I'm not a weatherman. I am not. I have been tracking the hurricane a little bit because I got friends in the Gulf, right? I got friends that live in Pensacola. I have a really good friend that lives in Asheville, North Carolina, and Asheville was affected, but it actually missed where he's at and actually went right past him up into the North Carolina mountains. My cousin lives right outside of Charlotte on the South Carolina side. So I called him. He's not affected. They said they just got heavy rainfall. So I was tracking it a little bit because I do have people that I love that are in that area. And then, of course, my man Lucha Doncic says, hey, I'm 20 minutes from Raleigh and the sun is out here. So, yeah. Now, maybe they could go to Raleigh, North Carolina. I think that would be cool. And they can do a promotional deal with Domino's and, buy a pizza, get a free ticket. I think I know a guy in that area that could hook that up. But but yeah, thoughts and prayers. I hate saying that because it sounds so empty, but I really, do feel for all the people affected by this hurricane. What TNA Wrestling is going through is very minimal and is not that important. I know it's important to them and it's important to us, but on the grand scheme of things, this is not a big deal. They can easily pivot. They're owned by $1 billion company that spends a lot of money on some really dumb movies. So I checked those out again this morning. Well, I'm playing on YouTube and Gravitas YouTube. I'm a subscriber to that. Because whenever Anthem first bought it, I was like, oh, what the hell is this? So I subscribed. And they have like movie trailers on there. I was like, okay, they have a movie trailer for a new vampire movie. I was like, oh, okay. And it had kind of an interesting thumbnail. So I clicked on it. And it was the worst looking movie I've ever seen in my life. I was like, look, take some of that money that you were paying for those terrible movies and put it into TNA. Because at least TNA is generating some revenue. That movie cannot generate a single dime. Ain't nobody watching that movie. I should really look up the name of the movie. Yeah, that'll take me too long. Fucking Be Bad Radio, Hole and Sweet Coffee for Gravitas Ventures. They do have some good movies in their library, but boy, oh boy, do they have some bad ones. Update on TNA show cancellations and plans moving forward. Okay, TNA, this is from Fightful Select. TNA has unfortunately been forced to cancel this week's Spartanburg shows after multiple delays. TNA went above and beyond to try to get the tapings and starting with Friday all the way to next Tuesday, as they were to serve as the build for Bound for Glory. TNA put heavy promotion into the tapings, having the Hardy Boys travel to Spartanburg early and do media. Some staff was already on scene and faced with a rough situation as power went out in the hotel they stayed at. There were no vacancies elsewhere and had to change their devices in their cars. Due to dangers of the Hurricane Helene and a lack of power at the venue they were running, the decision made was to cancel the shows. We've heard numerous discussions involving plans moving forward for TNA. Among them include the possibility of running Skyway Studios in Nashville next week, which is where they filmed during the pandemic and hosted Slammiversary 2021. The word relayed to many was that this week's episode of TV could end up being a best of Bound for Glory show. So we could be getting a best of show this week, and then possibly be taping afterwards. Okay. I think they should go live. I think they should have some balls and just go live. That's easy for me to say because it's not my money, but I think they should just go live on Thursday and do kind of what we've been saying they should do for a while. Just go live, even if it's from Skyway. Now, Skyway, you can only get 100 people in there, but and it's short notice and all that. But I think they should. I think they should just go live at least this Thursday, and then they can go to taping afterwards. But see, Billy says nothing definitive, just that Skyway is rumored. Okay. other SRS, he said the word related to many was that this week's episode could end up being a best of Bound for Glory show. Yeah. So we'll continue we'll continue to monitor that situation. If anything breaks, I will get to Patreon and I will do some if I can't do audio, I'll at least write something and I'll have an update for it on the Patreon. Okay. But that is going to do it for me this week. Thank you everybody in the chat for participating and thank you for being Patreon subscribers. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you, Billy and folks, for dropping the news. I greatly appreciate that. And we'll continue to monitor this whole situation and with the TV coming up. But until next time, mahalo.